quite the shifts in the, I guess, lower tiers of comic companies that we've had in the last couple of days. We, of course, announced the exit of the editor-in-chief of IDW Publishing yesterday, which was a surprise move, especially ahead of a shareholder call that's happening tomorrow. But on the Valiant space, there's also another surprise move with Lyssa Hawkins named new editor-in-chief, and Ron Kakasi, I hope I said that name right, also hired. Now, these are coming from Alien Books, and if you guys have followed the trajectory of Valiant, it's been an up-and-down road. Of course, in the 90s, it was started by Jim Shooter and company. They bailed a big way early through things. The company continued along until it was bought by Acclaim Video Games, which then went bankrupt. It was then bought at option by a man named Dinesh Shamdashani, who then revitalized the brand in 2012 to 2017, at which point a Chinese media conglomerate, D&G, bought Valiant with the thought of like making superhero movies out of it, trying to be the next Marvel. They kind of stumbled and failed with their comic books as well as their movies. And then they announced a licensing agreement with Alien Books, who's been publishing a lot of like manga type stuff or European comics, just a lot of random things along the way. And so now they've got this Valiant division, which they've been working on a relaunch of the property called Resurgence. And it's like this whole web together group of miniseries. And it's been spearheaded by Lyssa Hawkins. So I actually watched an interview with Lyssa Hawkins talking about the upcoming stuff with this on the Comic Uno channel, and found out some pretty interesting information. And I actually talked with her a little bit in a Valiant Facebook group about the Valentine's Day special, which kind of like was a prelude to this. Now, the Valentine's Day special was several short stories with characters in the Valiant universe, but they all had this like thread of continuity together, and that's what intrigued me about the relaunch now, because it's been a tough few years for Valiant, but with the relaunch coming, there's some hope, and I'm going to get into kind of where they're at right now and what all this means, and my hope for the future based on what this news brings. So that relaunch looks pretty good. And I've enjoyed most of the offerings so far. They're varying quality of the books, but mostly have been pretty good, pretty to tolerable, which is that's how you get with a line of books. But Valiant burnt a lot of bridges over the last few years, and what I've heard from fans is that a lot of people just aren't not even checking things out because they've been burned too many times. Those are direct words I've heard from multiple fans. I've asked about this, and I said, hey, but they're attempting to bring continuity in and actually do things on that level, and actually build the universe again rather than have these random stories that don't really fit like they had under the D&G era. And people are still just not willing to check it out, and so they're going to have an uphill battle here, and I think Lyssa is going to have an uphill battle here, but. That said, these have some good characters with some good properties, and there's been some good restarts so far. So we'll see how this develops. Now, in talking to my retailers with the resurgence that's come out so far, I think there's been around 10 books coming out so far. They really haven't been selling well. There were a couple missteps along the way. There's these prestige books which have come out, which are linked. They're like 2 or 3 issues in length usually, almost a full graphic novel right away. And those didn't go off the stands very well. And I actually loved them. As a reader, I thought, thank God they're just putting out full-length books with full-length stories. I was very happy with that. But for the casual comic fan, they don't just pick things up unless it's $3.99, $4.99. So when you've got that ask of like a $9.99 comic, a lot of them just passed it by because it wasn't an impulse buy level to them. So that was kind of a sad thing for me. I was really hoping we were going to get a transition towards more European style comic offering where you get full graphic novels. That would have been awesome. Unfortunately, the comic fan base in the comic shops who buy superhero books just were not on that same page. But that's where it's at right now. Is these relaunches are happening, yet a lot of people are not coming in. And I think that they're going to need a little bit of an up in quality. This Alien books relaunch. There's some good stuff. Like I said, I've enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Exo Manowar. Britannia with Peter Milligan especially has been fantastic. But the art level is a lot lower than it was under the original relaunch regime. And that's a cost thing, I'm sure. I'm sure they didn't want to risk putting a huge amount of money, resources into their art like Dinesh did originally, because if it doesn't sell, you're going to be out a lot of money. And that's probably a reality that they're going to have to face going forward. So that's where things are at. But in this superhero market where, interest has died down even for Marvel and DC, to be a third competitor here, you really need to be outstanding in order to get people's attention. I don't think pretty good is going to cut it for sales. So we'll see how they can navigate that over at Valiant with this new team as it goes forward. Now, what Lyssa brings to the table is pretty cool. And what I learned under the Comic Uno interview is that she actually mentored or was mentored by Mark Grunwald. And so when I talk about continuity and how weaving the universe together, Mark Grunwald was really the person that did that at Marvel. He created that cohesive Marvel universe, that sort of cosmic timeline that they had that really made Marvel something special. And it built it and actually probably preserved the brand in the 80s and 90s beyond anything else. So his attention to detail on that was a huge, huge deal. And that's why we have Marvel fans to this day. And that's what I actually saw in the restarts here. So while some of the art quality was up and down, and some of the writers I like better than others, that attention to detail, just with like the little continuity points of the building of the universe, were there. And when I asked her about it on Facebook, or I inquired about it, because I saw that in the thread of the Valentine's Day special, she said that was her idea. And it came from her. And I was like, wow, well done. That's impressive to me. When you are getting 8-10 books managed like this, and you could do that, it's very, very impressive to be able to get that continuity going on that level. Shows a attention to detail that very few people have. And so that's why I'm cautiously optimistic about this, because, again, I've been burned by Valiant a few times, of course, as a fan. But there's so much good stuff, too, and I think there's so much that can still be done with these characters. It's almost like an untapped universe compared to the Marvel and DC heroes, which is really exciting. So good stuff. Now, Ron Kikassi's hired as like a marketing and communications director, and I had a brief message with him, and he seems like a nice guy. So that's going to be on him to really bring the marketing forward. There's a couple other people at Alien Books I've talked to, and they're all super nice people too. So you're dealing with some like a corner of the comic industry that doesn't seem corrupted by a lot of the established old guard. That's jaded and has the continuing problems that we see faced in the industry so far, and that's really interesting. It does make Valiant this kind of like weird independent path in comics for superheroes that you don't really see anywhere else. And so I'm excited about this. I think this is a pretty good promotion. I think Lyssa Hawkins probably deserves this pretty well, and I hope that this continues. So she apparently talked about editorial staff at DC Comics not getting paid very well back in the day. She's been part of Valiant since 2018, since before the DMC buyout, and she remained through it. So she knows a lot about the Valiant universe by this point, doing pretty well. And this is going to be the path forward at this point. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic for Valiant. I love these characters so much, and I hope the best for it, and I hope that like a third independent rival can really step up and get some people's attention in the wake of kind of Marvel's and DC's fallout, because there's a lot of potential customers to grab here if they can figure out how to get their attention, and that's really what it's going to come down to. So of course, I have ideas. That's what I do, is I grab attention here. And gosh, I forgot to show my stuff at the beginning of this video. I usually do this at the beginning of videos. This is The Hidden Emperor. It's my graphic novel, which is going to come out on Kickstarter in a little bit here. And I would love for you to sign up to notify me on launch. It's not available for purchase yet, but if you click this green button, you can get notified on launch so that it is. And so we can have the biggest launch possible for our science fiction universe, which is really progressing nicely. I'm paying a lot of attention to detail, to continuity, and to like building the universe as Lyssa Hawkins is doing with the Valiant. And so if you enjoy that and you enjoy what they've done in the 2012 to 2018 era, I hope you'll enjoy my stuff too, because it definitely was a big influence on me. And I want to present that kind of thing to customers of my own. So thanks so much for watching this, and let me know what you think about the Valiant relaunch. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like and subscribe button. Sign up for this. This will be in the description. We'll be back soon.